Motivation is loud, but it's also temporal. Habits, on the other hand, they are what build empires. They are what build dreams. They are what build better versions of people. Anyone can start strong, but not everyone knows how to stay consistent. Yeah. Hey, it's Elizabeth, and this is the Self-Made series. Today, we are going to talk about something that can change the entire direction of your life if you let it. Building habits that actually stick. Yeah. When I started my Faceless YouTube channel during the pandemic, that was like during the COVID-19, I was on fire with motivation. I had these big goals in my head. I told myself I did show up every day, but after a few weeks, that fire turned into smoke. I kept waiting for motivation to strike again. I did plan, overthink, procrastinate, and before I knew it, I was back at square one. Like I am just where I am. Okay, I am just where I am. I was just where I was. Okay, wherever. It wasn't that I didn't care. I just didn't have a healthy system of habits. No structure, no anchor, no rhythm. And until the day I learned something. If you rely on motivation alone, you will never build anything that lasts. And that's it. Truth. In this episode, I'll break down why motivation fades but habits remain, and how to use the simple 2-minute rule to make new habits stick, and how to hack your environment so it works for you, not against you. So if you're tired of starting strong and falling off after a few weeks, this episode is for you. It will help you build habit that sticks and keep you showing up, even on the days you don't feel like it. Let's get right into it. So first of all, why motivation fades but habits remain? Motivation is like a spark. It's exciting, it's inspiring, but it burns out fast if there is nothing to keep it going, which is a system. For example, when I decided I wanted to write a book, I was super motivated in the beginning. I was journaling, outlining chapters, visualizing the finished copy, even imagining how I spent the money I made from selling those books. But after a few days, the hype faded, and it was my system of daily habits. Waking up at the same time, setting aside 30 minutes to write no matter how I felt, that actually carried me forward. You notice that? That is what a system of habits. That's what habits do. They protect your goals from your changing moods, because mood will always change. 99.9% of the times, right? You will not feel like doing it. You will not feel like doing it. You will not feel like waking up. You will not feel like writing. You will not feel like reading. You will not feel like recording. You will not feel like doing anything, because the brain naturally loves comfort. It just feeds on comfort naturally. That's why motivation fades, but habits will always remain. So let's move over to discipline hacks that actually stick. Let me start with a question. Why is it that two people can set the same goal? One loses 20 pounds, build a business, learns a new skill, and the other quits by week 2, week 1, even the first day, because it's difficult, right? They both wanted it. They both had time. They both had access to Google and YouTube. So what made the difference between those two people? One failed, one succeeded. The uncomfortable truth: motivation doesn't last, discipline does. Yeah. And here is the catch. Most of us were taught the wrong idea of discipline. We think it's about forcing yourself, white knuckling through pain, and living like a monk. No wonder it feels impossible to keep discipline alive. Now let me tell you a quick story. Back in college, there was this guy, Emeka. Everyone called him Mr. January. Why? Because every January he showed up to the gym like a champion. New shoes, fresh routine, even posting motivational quotes online. By March, nowhere to be found. He didn't lack goals, he lacked systems. And here is what I want you to remember. Discipline is not about who you are, it's about what you set up. Yeah. Now here is where it gets more interesting. Discipline is like a compound interest. At first, the payoff feels tiny, almost invisible. But after weeks, months, even years, that small consistency turns into massive transformation. That's why successful people don't rely on discipline. They build it into the invisible part of their lives, their routines, their surroundings, their habits even. That's what discipline does. So let's break down 3 hacks that actually stick. Hacks even Mr. January, aka Emeka, could have used to achieve his gym life. The 2-minute rule. James Clear calls this a gateway habit. If you want to read more, just commit to opening a book for 2 minutes. You want to run? Just put on your shoes and step outside. Why does this work? Because the hardest part is starting. Discipline is built in those first 2 minutes, not the whole marathon. Yes, you heard right. I repeat, discipline is built in those first 2 minutes. Discipline is built in those first 2 minutes, not the whole marathon. One of the biggest mistakes we make is trying to do too much too soon. The 2-minute rule says, if a new habit feels overwhelming, scale it down to something you can do in just 2 minutes. You don't have to study for 3 hours straight. Just open your notes and read the first line. You don't have to work hard for an hour. Just put on your workout clothes and stretch. Once you start, momentum takes over. I'm speaking from experience. Momentum takes over. And this is how small, consistent steps turn into powerful habits that stick. I've seen people struggle with staying consistent in their education, in their business, in their skill, in their craft. And most times, I don't think it's because they are lazy. I feel like they set goals so big that it starts appearing impossible to start. But when they break it down into tiny daily actions, everything changed. This is something that I've learned to do over time, breaking tasks into smaller fragment sections, taking it one fraction at a time. Before you know it, you're done. And the next hack is temptation bottling. We humans, we love pleasure. So instead of fighting it, why not use it to our advantage? Pair something you need to do with something you enjoy. Example, only listening to your favorite podcast while working out. Only sip that iced coffee while you are doing your online course. Discipline stays when it feels rewarding, not punishing. Don't get it mixed up anymore. Moving to the last section in this episode, which is hacking your environment to support your goals. Environment engineering, you can call it that. This is the hack most people ignore. You want to eat healthier? Don't just keep junk food in the house, please. You want to stop scrolling? Delete TikTok during work hours. Your willpower is weak, but your environment can be assigned to make discipline effortless. Your environment is either making your habit easier or harder. There is no in between. If your phone is your biggest distraction, leaving it next to your bed is basically setting yourself up to fail. If you want to read more, keep a book where your phone usually is. If you want to wake up early, set your alarm away from your bed. When you finally rearrange your environment, you make it easier to make good habits easy for you to actualize, and then bad habits gets harder for you to comply with. Consistency becomes natural. Discipline isn't just about willpower, it's about setting yourself up to win. Motivation gets you started, habits keeps you going, and your environment determines how far you can go. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just build one habit at a time, brick by brick. Because the real power isn't in doing it once, it's in doing it until it becomes a part of who you are. So here's your challenge for today. Pick one hack, 2-minute rule, temptation bottling, environment engineering. Try it for the next 7 days straight. Don't aim for perfect, just aim for consistent. I keep saying that there is no such thing as starting perfect. Showing up perfect means that you have to show up with your 100% every single day. And that is not feasible. Showing up close to perfection is what I will always preach. Showing up with your 5%, with your 2%, with your 3%. However, don't show up with 0%, please. You have to show up with a percentage, right? So remember, it's not the big burst of motivation that change your life. It's the tiny disciplines repeated daily. This was episode 3 of the Self-Made series, and in our next episode, we'll be talking about the hidden cost of comfort zone. And trust me, once you hear it, you will never look at playing itself the same way again. Trust me. If this episode hit home for you, make sure to follow so you don't miss the next one. And most importantly, choose one habit to start building today. Just one. Showing up doesn't require perfection, just consistency. See you on my next episode. Bye.